Hey, what's up guys, welcome back to another sports stuff video, and today we'll be talking about the Jacksonville Jaguars and what their offseason plan is going to be holding. Now, I'm very excited. I'm going to be doing probably all 32 NFL teams, but we'll be starting with the number one overall pick, the Jacksonville Jaguars. Exciting offseason ahead. Completely going to rebuild their entire roster, hopefully. I mean, you don't want to keep a roster that went 1-15. They had a couple bright spots, but let's talk about it. So first, hire GM, and I'm gonna say the assistant GM from the Kansas City Chiefs, Mike Borgonzi. Now, Mike Borgonzi has been with the Chiefs for a couple years. He was there when John Dorsey was there. He's now where the current GM is, and he's helped a lot with their current roster. When John Dorsey left, they were in a very bad cap situation, and obviously the cap situation is now a lot better. They have 5 or 6 players with long-term mega deals, and they're still building winning teams year in and year out because they're drafting very well. And he is a big part of it. Mike Borgonzi's there, he's helping, and I think he can bring a really big shift in energy since he comes from a winning franchise. He's got the drive and experience to really be a good GM in this league. And if partnered with the current head coach candidate, which is now official head coach, I think they can make a good duo. And obviously, that coach is Urban Meyer. He's already been hired. I'm not really going to spend too much time on this. He's already been hired. Everyone's already talked about it at extent. He knows the college players very well. He'll be very good for the next couple of years. There will be veterans who want to come play for their old college coach. There will be even middle-aged people, the 27, the 28-year-olds who want to play with their former college coach they had success with. They might want to, that could help when you want to go into contract negotiations. Off-season moves. So this is just their pending free agents. This is not them who they need to sign in free agency. This is their own pending in-house free agents. Cam Robinson at left tackle. He struggled with consistent play throughout his entire career. He's never been really a top 10 left tackle at any point. He's always been a, middle of the pack or poor. I think he was pretty decent this year. He's definitely worth something. He might go under the radar for some teams, so which means he might be able to get him for a little bit cheaper. I would go for a 2-3 year deal with incentive heavy. It's like, hey, we'll give you a 2-year deal. Prove yourself with Trevor Lawrence. He's ranked 28th in offensive snap played at left tackle. He was tied at 19th for penalties, and he only allowed 5 sacks, which is tied for the 12th least in the entire league. He had a 61.8 overall from PFF. Not great, but I think Cam Robinson still has value. I think especially with Trevor Lawrence and a new coaching staff and new offensive line coach, I think he has a chance to flourish, and at least be worth, a good long-term deal after a year or two, especially with this new offense and now Trevor Lawrence and a decent run game with James Robinson, who was a stellar running back. It'll be very interesting to see what they do with Cam Robinson and just the offensive line in general, because Andrew Norwell, Brandon Linder, AJ Cann, 3 veterans who are all very expensive. How much money do you really want to put into this offensive line? It's very interesting to see what they're going to do. But I would re-sign Cam Robinson to a quick 2-year prove-it deal and just be like, hey, if you ball out, awesome. If you don't, we don't have you for long-term for a lot of money. Dwayne Smoot, defensive end. His 2020 stats with 25 tackles, 5.5 sacks, 2 forced fumbles, and 5 tackles for loss. He started 6 of the last games. I believe it was 6 of 7 the last games. Very, very good at minimum backup. I don't know if I would have him as a starter, but he's definitely worth some money as a backup. I mean, 5 sacks, 2 forced fumbles, and 5 tackles for losses means that he played well, especially with Josh Allen on the other end giving some pressure. If you want to go cheap, I think it's a good idea. He probably won't get a big, term deal. I'd offer him a 3-4 year deal, probably somewhere around $3 to $4 million a year. A 3-year, $15 million contract with like $10 million guaranteed. I think is probably good for Dwayne Smoot and his talent. I mean, comparing him around the league, he's probably an Adrian Claiborne type. Where he's a backup who has starter potential with injuries, and he's gonna be good while those injuries are pertaining. But I'm very interested to see what Dwayne Smoot and his contract's gonna be, because I think he has a very good value, but I don't know if he has a major value outside of the team. Next is Adam Gotsis, defensive end. He had 2020 stats were 0 sacks, 3 pass defended, 1 forced fumble, and little to no tackles for losses. He's a veteran who wants to be there. 1 year to try and get big payday next year. just like what he did with last year, but it didn't work out for him. I think it's good to have some veteran presence. So if you don't bring back Adam Gotsis, bring back Smoot. But if you bring back Smoot, I would consider getting Gotsis just as a veteran presence, um, and just a backup. I think Adam Gotsis still has some value, not a lot, but I think he's definitely a veteran presence that will be able to help younger guys, especially if you draft some more. Trey Herndon, cornerback. His 2020 stats were 0 interceptions and 5 pass deflections, down from 13 last year. He had 13 last year. Pass deflections, PDs. He had 13. He's a good young corner, chance to develop with Henderson. I would give him a 1-year prove-it deal. It's like, hey, you played awesome. You'll probably get money somewhere else. But if you get a 1-year deal with us, you can have the chance to pay out next year. Or even they pay out him this year. I don't know how much Urban Meyer and his defensive coordinator are going to value him. But if I was Trey Herndon, I would love to have the chance to be the number 2 with CJ Henderson, who looked like he was actually a pretty decent corner last year. I'm excited for how his future is going to turn out. But I think Trey Herndon would have a lot of value in this offense if he was given a chance with a new defensive coordinator and a team that actually wants to win with Trevor Lawrence. Sidney Jones, cornerback. His 2020 stats are 2 interceptions, 9 pass deflections, and a forced fumble. He's young enough to fit the timetable of this team. They nabbed him from the Eagles after he was cut because, he wasn't playing good. But he actually played pretty decent, for the Jaguars. All these stats are with the Jags. A 3-year deal, I think that's pretty okay. I wouldn't pay him a lot of money, but if you can't get Sidney Jones, definitely get Trey Herndon. And even if you do get Sidney Jones, I'd still think about Trey Herndon because a 3-corner rotation. You have 2 outside corners to the slot corner. I think Trey Herndon can play the slot very well. I think Sidney Jones can even play the slot really well. With CJ Henderson developing as your number 1 corner, having those 2 corners surrounding him, I think would be very good. Bubble re-signings, Keenan Cole had 55 receptions for 600 yards and 5 touchdowns with Gardner Minshew and what was his name? I can't remember his name. There'll be a thing popping up on the screen now. The other quarterback's name, that Mike Glennon. He had 55 receptions and 600 yards with those 2 quarterbacks. Imagine what he can do with Trevor Lawrence. And D.D. Westbrook, he was placed on IR early, didn't really have a chance to play. I think he's still young and could take a very cheap deal to come back and prove it for next year. Keenan Cole is really the guy I'd go for, though. I'd really think about re-signing him. But if they want to draft a wide receiver to develop with Trevor Lawrence, I'm okay with that. Or they want to sign someone else, I'm okay with that. Keenan Cole was just a maybe. That's why it's a bubble re-signing. Now, off-season moves, signing free agents, or trades. Now, this is outside free agents and who they should trade for, in my opinion. Trade number 1, I'd say Zach Ertz, tight end from the Eagles. His 2020 stats were 36 receptions for 300 yards and a touchdown. He was injured for most of the year, but, what happened week 17 against the Washington football team, I think he wants out. I think him, Carson Wentz, and their center, Jason Kelce, I think all 3 of them are going to be out. I know they brought in Nick Sirianni from the Colts to coach the Eagles. Maybe that changes something, but I think Zach Ertz is out. I think he's completely done with this team, with ownership, with everything. I don't know. If Zach Ertz does leave, I think Jacksonville would be the prime team to try and go get him. I think a 4th and a 7th should do. He's in the last year of the deal, and Eagles have no cap. This could just be to make cap space. Obviously, a fractured relationship with the coach is now irrelevant. But I think it's more a fractured relationship with the organization as a whole. The fact that they drafted his replacements in Dallas Goedert, the fact that the team continues to prolong his deal and his extension that he's been asking for, and then obviously he has a bad year. I think there's a good chance he gets traded. Now, many will ask why a 4th and a 7th, why not more? I think some teams overvalue their players, and other teams actually value their players. If you were not going off Zach Ertz's name, and you told me, hey, a tight end with 36 receptions, 300 yards, and a touchdown, but he's won a Super Bowl, I think a 4th and a 7th would do, no matter who that person is. I don't know. I feel like he's not going to be worth that much on the open market, especially in a trade to fill up cap, because obviously COVID is going to take a really big hit, and the Eagles are one of those teams that honestly need to get in the positive to try and fix this team, the linebacker core. But I think Zach Ertz is a very possible trade target with the tight end. Marcus Williams, safety out of New Orleans. This is a sign. His 2020 stats were 3 interceptions, 7 pass deflections, and 59 tackles. Saints are $100 million in the cap negative. Marcus Williams will not be back with that team next year. C.J. Gardner-Johnson has been very solid since he was drafted. I expected a Von Bell type deal. Funny enough, Von Bell was also with the Saints. But Marcus Williams, I think, is going to be on the out just because he is going to demand a lot of money from a lot of teams, like the Browns. Wink, wink, like the Browns. It'll be very interesting to see what kind of deal he gets. But I think he has a lot of value on the open market, and I think the Jags need to go for him. Joe Thuney, the guard out of New England. He only allowed 2 sacks with a 74.2 PFF grade, which is very decent. We'll have lots of offers. It's one of the best guards in the open market. Jags are now very interesting for free agents because they have over $100 million in cap, even with the cap going down. They have Trevor Lawrence, Urban Meyer, a young team that's going to be trying to build. Now, this is only if they want to move off Andrew Norwell or AJ Cann. They can overpay for Joe Thuney. They could literally be like, oh, these people want to pay you 18 mil. We'll pay you 22. Like they can just do that off the whim. And I think Joe Thuney is one of the best guards in the league. And I'll be very interested to see what they do with AJ Cann and Andrew Norwell. But I think Joe Thuney is younger and better than both of those. So I would willingly cut either of those people. And both of them, I think Andrew Norwell has like a $16 million, like if they cut him, they save 16 mil. And AJ Cann is like 2.4. So if they just restructure Andrew Norwell and cut AJ Cann, you can just make enough money to overpay for Joe Thuney plus some. But yeah, he's probably the number one target I go for. Now, a trade, obviously, they have a tight end issue, and I think they should trade for one and not draft a tight end. So David Njoku, tight end out of Cleveland, 2020 stats were 19 receptions for 200 yards and 2 touchdowns. He had an okay year. Third at best, second string tight end. He showed very good blocking, and he had better hands this year. The Browns obviously drafted Harrison Bryant. They have Austin Hooper. David Njoku is on the outs. He's on his 5th-year contract next year. His fifth year. He's on his 5th year next year. Easily tradable, and if you trade for him, you can easily void him. I think this would be a 1 year, like, hey, we'll trade you for 1 year of use, and we might re-sign you, but we're most likely just going to let you walk. Very interested to see what they do. A 4th and a future 6th will work. He was a former first-round pick, but especially coming off of this year, and like the Browns aren't stupid. They know, like, hey, we're not going to overvalue our players like the Eagles, I think, would. If David Njoku asks for a trade, they're going to accept it. Be like, okay, we've loved you in Cleveland. We wish this would have worked out better, but thank you for your service. Have a good day. But again, his blocking has improved massively. And I think with Urban Meyer, it could get even better. So that's my Jacksonville Jaguars off-season plan, my signings, my trades, my in-house signings. Right now, I'm going to cut to what I think they should do in the draft. All right, so you'll be using the draft networks. Obviously, they have one of the best in the business in mock drafts. You can go to Jaguars next. 7 rounds, fast, manual. Start the draft. Now I'm going to talk about it. Trevor Lawrence is their first-round pick. I feel like that's just very easy to just keep going. Now I'm going to talk about it. Trevor Lawrence is obviously going to be their pick. Now, the 25th overall pick, I think there's a good chance they probably go. I don't know. They definitely don't need running back. I guess tackle could be on their mind. Alex Leatherwood sitting right here. Now, this is if they don't bring back Cam Robinson because they have Jawan Taylor at the right tackle. And they don't bring back Cam Robinson. Alex Leatherwood would probably be a very good idea. Let's go look at corner. Asante Samuel sitting there. But again, this is going off of if they re-sign everyone that I said that they should re-sign. Tight ends. Pat Freiermuth is sitting right there. He's a very good, capable, good at blocking and receiving. I'm going to go with Pat Freiermuth. I know it's a little bit of a reach, the 49, but I definitely think Pat Freiermuth is going to be a very quiet person for them to pick. Let's go to offensive tackle. Tevin Jenkins is he's not a first-round pick in my opinion. I don't believe he will be. Let's go to look at interior offensive lineman. Wyatt Davis is still there, and Trey Smith, and Creed Humphrey. Creed Humphrey is way too low. Wow. They have him as a 62. I have him as a possible fringe first round pick, definitely a second round pick. Wow, that's interesting. I'm really thinking about grabbing Creed Humphrey just because of that. Let me just look at safety. Yeah, no, I'm good. Carlos Basham, Hamilcar Rashed Jr., Quincy Roche, Dylan Moses is still sitting here. I'm I think I'm gonna go grab Creed Humphrey. If he's still here, he's a steal. Andrew Norwell, as I said, and Andrew Norwell, Brandon Linder, their center, is one of the better in the league, but he's aging. They could want to move off him just because of money, not just because they don't like him. Quincy Roche, I think, had a really down year just because he went to Miami and he was gonna. I believe it was Gregory Rousseau who opted out. He went there just to play with him, but they got Josh Allen. Grab him a competent running mate. I think Quincy Roche has a possibility of being that. Um, hmm. Hmm. I think it's Quincy Roche. I think that's the pick. I think Quincy Roche is definitely the pick. I was just seeing if there was anyone else that was even interesting to look at. Really wasn't. Pretty sure trade is locked because it's a paywall, right? It's trade. Yeah, it's only for premium. That's what I thought. Um, I think I think wide receiver is probably a good idea. Anthony Schwartz should be running a very fast 40-yard dash. Um, I think that's the only one I'd be interested right now is Anthony Schwartz. Amari Rogers is kind of interesting from Clemson. Grab him, grab Trevor Lawrence, wide receiver he's used to throwing to. But I think you can wait a couple more rounds. Um, Walker Little is the only person that I've been am interested in. Ben Cleveland actually has a very good chance. I think he could be probably a pretty decent backup guard. Let me go linebacker. Um, Cameron McGrone. Eh, yeah. Yeah, that is a problem. I probably should have looked at interior defensive line quicker because they don't really have any. Like the problem with Josh Allen is that he has to literally do everything because the interior of the defensive line doesn't get pressure and they can really only do the run. So Marlon, I'm not gonna pronounce. Look, I've never heard of this man before. I'm really sorry to anyone that likes USC. Um, I don't look at every single prospect in the entirety of the league. Um, Sorry. I just That's just not what I do. Um, is if Paris Ford is still available, he is, and Andre Cisco, who looks very good. I am actually gonna be grabbing Andre Cisco, who I think is gonna be a monster in the NFL and a steal if he isn't picked number one. You know, the safeties aren't like the best ever, the come outs of the college, but they're definitely very good people. Um, throughout the entirety of the rounds. I think linebackers are probably has a good chance again picked up somewhere. Patty Fisher last year would have probably been a fourth round pick, fifth round pick. We're in the fourth round. I think I could probably get him a little bit later. Anthony Schwartz is sitting here. Cornell Powell. I was really looking for Clemson guys because I'm like, it'd be kind of funny to get people with him. I don't think they need a running back. James Robinson's obviously really good. Could they grab another running back? Chuba Hubbard, I really love Chuba Hubbard, even though I'm an Oklahoma fan. Um, Nick Eubanks, kind of interesting. Um, I think it's just grabbing depth. So if they have Tyler Eifert and what's his name, the backup tight end, that was drafted like a year or two ago. Can't remember his name. I think that should be a fine tight end group. Wide receiver. Did they grab Anthony Schwartz? I'll just go with Anthony Schwartz. Fast wide receiver. We'll be able to develop. Um, you know, isn't the best pick. I kind of regret making that pick. I think you should just get really big dudes. 315. Liz looking for muscle and big boys. Naquan Jones. Lily don't. I'm sorry, man. I don't know anything about you, but I might just draft you a little early, just because you need big dudes in the middle that can stop the run and pass rush. I literally didn't see if he was a pass rusher. Again, most of this I think they would trade, but because I can't actually trade because it's behind a paywall and I'm not paying money, I'm just making some of these picks. You know, it's whatever. Let's grab Cordell Volson. You know, backup tight ends, backup offensive lineman. A lot of these picks I'd be trading, but you know, it's whatever. We'll just make the picks. Let's see. Let's see if there's some. Oh, am I done? Are you sure this is fast? This is pretty slow. All right. So far, I think I'm gonna grab Taron Jackson. Lewis could grab another depth edge. If I have another, I do. Um, Here is where I would look into grabbing a backup running back. Any of them I even recognize? I don't even recognize any of these names. I feel really bad. I feel so bad. I don't recognize anybody's names. I feel so dumb. I feel so dumb right now. I guess DJ Daniel. Maybe. Yeah, let's go with DJ Daniel. You know, he was supposed to go 40 picks earlier. It's fine. I think we had a pretty good draft. You know, wasn't perfect, but we hit on some dudes. Obviously, let me use the picks. Obviously, Trevor Lawrence, Pat Fryermuth, Creed Humphrey, Quincy Roche, Marlon Taiopula. I'm so sorry. I'm not gonna try that. Andre Sisco. I'm so excited for that. I love Andre Sisco. Anthony Schwartz, some speed at wide receiver. Naquan Jones, a big man for the defensive line. Cordell Volson, a backup tight end, offensive tackle. I did it again. Taron Jackson, who's an edge, and DJ Daniel, a corner. Yeah, I think this is a pretty good draft. You know, I think Andre Sisco and at pick 105 is a steal. Anthony Schwartz at 129, it's pretty decent value. Quincy Roche at 46 is very good. Creed Humphrey at 33. But obviously, the pick of the steal, the pick of the draft at Trevor Lawrence, number 1 overall, it's good. It's good. Very good draft. But thank you guys for watching. Hope you did enjoy. If you did, please like, comment, and subscribe. Comment down below Urban Meyer if you made it this far. Thank you guys for watching. I'll see you later. Peace.